Okay, anyway, thanks folks for joining in. And so, yeah, I know, live TV.
All the things that you don't see in the background when it's
that's it.
on television.
We're probably going to laugh a little bit less. It's like the old Carol Burnett show when they would, Tim Conway would try to break up Harvey Korman, and yes, we are dating ourselves.
And ad-libbing a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that is, well, Scott, I'm excited to be here again. I love what you do. I love reaching out to the folks on Facebook.
Sure.
I think today we're going to talk about why you want to be in the senior care business, specifically home care, right?
Sure. Well, no, we've done some Facebook Live. We have other pages that are aimed at, because in addition to being a franchisor, we operate our Raleigh office. And then we have our partner in Winston-Salem, Kimberly, and we've partnered up on some Facebook Live events to talk to folks who are potential clients, people who need home care. And that's part of one of the things that makes us different is some of our marketing efforts. This live, here's the CEO, folks, answering your questions of the entire company. And the exciting thing is next month we're going to involve Kimberly Pettigrew, who is our Winston-Salem franchisee rather. And we're going to get more into some of the neat things we do to support the franchisees. But that's the kind of thing we're doing that nobody else in the home care business is doing.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, where you've got the CEO of the CEO of XYZ Senior Home Care out there right now, and you know the names because their ads are out there on TV and radio. The CEO is sitting there live answering your questions honestly and openly. Hi there. Isn't the internet a wonderful thing? So this is what we're here to talk about, is why it's a good idea to consider a business opportunity as an at-home elder care franchisee. And just this industry itself is very exciting. You got some facts and figures you want to share with folks.
I do, folks. And I should point out, certainly my name is Gavin Densmore. This month, May of 2021, is my 21st anniversary in senior care. I founded my first home care agency back in May of 2000. Where have 21 years gone? I don't know. The older I get, the faster they go. And we were actually we were the first home care agency in the Triangle of North Carolina, which is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. And we certainly cover that whole market as we do today. So 21 years in the industry as of this month. Why I'm excited to this day, 21 years later, is that the industry, our client base, continues to explode. I'll say this, 21 years ago, people didn't know what senior care was. Now, with the silver tsunami on its way, rushing up to hit the shores of America, it's definitely starting to make people's radar screens. 3.65 million people are turning 65 every year in the United States. That's 10,000 individuals a day that are turning 65. So when we run a business, you have to have employees and you have to have clients. Well, boy, we've got the clients in spades. I mean, we've got the clients hands down, and that's going to be the case for the next 20 years, which is a huge number. I think one that I absolutely love that is just, Scott, broken on the front in the past couple of weeks is Joe Biden's infrastructure plan, where Joe publicly has committed $400 billion specifically to home care. This is a huge number, folks. Hopefully you're familiar with that expression, a rising tide floats all boats.
That's it.
Well, $400 billion being pumped into the American senior home care industry is going to have a positive effect on the caregivers. It's going to have a positive effect on the care recipients, and it's going to have a positive effect on the business owners. So that is I mean, that's just, oh boy, I'm just giddy with that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's good to see the federal government getting more behind the concept of home care.
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk about COVID in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal, it was actually on NPR, National Public Radio. And some think tank person said, boy, it's great that Joe's committed $400 billion to this, but that's a drop in the bucket for what the actual costs are what the government is going to have to do.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a starting point, Scott. I certainly is not going to be the end of it. Here's a fun fact to know, y'all folks. In 9 years, 2030, 1 out of 5 individuals in this country are going to be 65 or over. So you pass 5 people on the streets, 1 of them is going to be 65 and over. 1 out of 5, 20%. And I think that's a huge number, Scott.
Yeah.
It translates into a huge number, specifically for our industry. Promised we talk about COVID, and COVID is terrible. Folks, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have wished it upon anybody, my worst enemy or anything like that. But there is a silver lining. If you're a senior care agency owner, it's going to mean more clients for you. Why? Because 40 to 50% of all of the COVID-related deaths in America were in a facility-type environment, whether that's a retirement community, an assisted living facility, a nursing home, or a rehab facility. They're all kind of lumped in together. But nobody is really going to want to put their family members in a facility for as long as they can remember COVID. And so that gives
And in certain states, it was horrible. New York, for example.
Yes.
So people are looking for alternatives.
Yeah, and so what are the alternatives now? Well, they can move in with the kids. We call them the sandwich generation because they have aging parents and they've got young kids that are in soccer and ballet and dance and football and things like that. So the kids have got children of their own and they've got aging parents. I'm one of these people, and God only makes so much time in this world, and you can only get pulled in so many different directions. So certainly moving in with a family is one option. The family moving in with mom and dad is an option. Or there's senior care, in-home senior care.
Aging in place, they called it.
Aging in place, we call that, yes. And that is what the vast majority of, I think it's like 95% of the individuals out there would prefer to age in place.
Right.
So do I think that this is an industry that is going to be around for a long time? Absolutely. The demographics speak for themselves. Is it a badly needed business? Absolutely, because to Scott's point, if they want to age in place, our clients want to stay at home. And our job as home care agency owners is to find exactly that right person for that client. And that really is the job that we do.
So the bottom line to those numbers that we've discussed so far and those situations is that there is a ready pool of customers out there.
Oh, heavens. It's, I have trained over 15 years, for the past 15 years, I've trained hundreds of home care agency owners from around the country and around the world. I stay in touch with my clients to this day. Every one of them, I'm hearing, Gavin, we're turning away 6, 7, 8 families a week because they simply don't have the staff to stay up with the demand. The demand, I know none of you folks dialed in for an economics session today, and I'm certainly not an economist. My father got his degree in economics. I did not. But there is this thing called supply and demand. And when demand outstrips supply, Scott, it's a good thing for the service providers.
Yeah.
And we got 3.65 million people turning 65 every year for the next 20 years. And we have this pool of employees. Literally, folks, this translates into you are going to get to pick and choose your clients that you take care of. I have a client that I put in business right here in Raleigh. A shout out to Paula Work at Homeworks. And love Paula and Tom dearly. And Paula is to the point now that she doesn't take a client on unless it's 6 or more hours a day, which basically guarantees her employees 30 hours a week. And she'll say, Sugar, I'd love to help you out, but I just can't. My girls, they just don't want to work for anything unless it's 6 hours a day. And Paula, I'm guessing, is probably doing $2.5–3 million a year in gross sales. So she literally is to the point where she is picking and choosing her clients. Now, she's been doing this for 7 years now, 8 years.
And obviously her positive reputation and level of service enters into that. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. She and Tom are absolute delights.
Yeah.
And she is, but she is in the enviable position, and this is not only with Paula, this is with a lot of my clients that over the past 15 years we've put into business. They're getting to the point, the longer that they're in business, the more they get to pick and choose which clients they take on. As a startup home care agency, are you going to take anybody off the street as a client? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's reality. You've got to start somewhere with your clients and your employees. You've got to get the employees on the field and working, and you've got to start developing your book of caregivers. But once you're in the business for 3-4 years, and you've got that steady, consistent roster of employees, now it's time to start picking and choosing which clients you take on. And if I can take on a client and tie up an employee for 12 hours a week, or I can take on a client and commit an employee to 35 or 40 hours a week, which, the employee wants.
You're going to be happier, the employee's going to be happier.
Yeah, yes. So
not to say that there aren't folks out there who are looking for 20 hours or 10 hours or whatever worth of work because they've already got something else going on or they have childcare issues or whatever.
Yeah.
But
there are, over the past 21 years of being in this business, virtually all of my employees that I had wanted to pick up as many hours as they possibly could.
Right.
Which means that you can serve a client for 10 hours a week, and you can serve a client for 40 hours a week. Use the business owner gets to pick and choose. And that's the beauty of it. And that's going to be the way for the next 20 years. So I think as a business owner, and please don't get me wrong, folks, I love all business types. And I get excited about, I think I am, Scott, a closet entrepreneur.
Shame on you.
I love starting up businesses, and I don't care if it's a sawmill or if it's a senior care agency or insulation or a new restaurant. That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit biased towards senior care because that's what I've been doing for the past 21 years. But as a business owner, it's got to be an enviable spot to be able to be in a position where you can pick and choose your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so let's say someone has, because there are other companies out there that are offering senior care franchises.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very popular niche.
Well, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the things that make at-home eldercare different. Why should they pick up the phone or go to our website? Which is, by the way, and we'll put this we'll put all contact information in the comments. You can find it. But the website, the good place to start is at homeec.com. That's the website, at home, H-O-M-E, E-C for cat.com. And then you'll see the franchise information page there. If you want, you can also reach out to us on Facebook if you folks are out there watching us on Facebook. If you're seeing us on YouTube, because we're going to be posting this on YouTube, look in the comments, look in the description for how to get a hold of us. And the same on our friends and contacts out there on LinkedIn.
And give us a call, shoot us an email, shoot me a text. I mean, if this interests you, then by all means, I love chatting with potential future wannabe business owners. It's exciting stuff. So I think you were getting the point there, Scott. What are our differentiators? Why do people want, or should they consider at-home Eldercare as a business partner?
Right.
I think first and foremost, our success rate. For 15 years, not only have I taught for the state of North Carolina in our licensing division, but in that time, myself and my senior management team have been hired to help establish 90 home care agencies across the country, and actually even one internationally, which was kind of exciting. 89 of those 90 are still in business to this day. That gives us a 98.9% success rate, if my math is correct. So, and I'm not a mathematician.
Yeah, don't ask me, I'm a communications major.
Nor am I an economist.
Yeah.
But we're pushing 99% success. And I'm tickled and I'm flattered that that's the case. Us over another franchise organization, and I think this is a big one, Scott, is that we allow our franchisees to be home-based. That's huge, folks. It's even huger over the past year and a half with COVID.
Yeah.
I love working from home. I admit it, folks. I will take that one on the chin. I love working from home. The commute is from my desk to the coffee pot. It's about 20. It's about 20 feet, Scott.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I got my lunch. Working from home is great. Most importantly, it translates into money for you folks. Now, we are coming to you live from At-Home Eldercare's headquarters in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have 4 offices. We have a waiting room. We have a bathroom. All of that cost me $1,500 a month, which translates into $18,000 a year. Scott, can you think of things that you can do with $18,000 a year?
Yes.
I can figure out some. I got a kid going to college this year. 18 grand would come in handy. Folks, as long as you can successfully run it from your home, I would encourage you to do that. I think frugality is the new black.
Yeah.
If you've got money left over, I want you to spend it on your employees, or I want you to spend it bringing in new clients. Or put it in your own back pocket, for heaven's sakes. But
there's nothing wrong with making a profit. It's not a dirty word. It really isn't.
No, there's not. But I just recently did a competitive analysis of our industry for the franchise sector. We're the only one that allows a home-based business. And I've got clients all over the United States that are doing this from home, and they love it. And they're saving money day in and day out. So think about the rent, think about utilities, think about internet connections, think about the convenience factor. This is going to date our video. I probably shouldn't do that, but the gas pipeline from Colonial just shut down, and there are runs on gas stations. Well, guess what? If you're working from home, that makes it a whole lot more convenient, and you don't have to go worry about getting gas in your gas tank.
Yep.
Another thing that differentiates us is our partnership with loyalty brands. And loyalty brands, folks, We had decided to partner up with Loyalty Brands in December of 2020. What was my driving focus for that was its founder, John Hewitt. You may not know the name John Hewitt, but you certainly know John's previous successes in Liberty Tax Service, as well as prior to that, one of the predecessor was Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. Excuse me. John, what I bring to the table for senior care in 21 years of experience, John brings his whole life of franchising. Mm-hmm. And if I were going to partner up with any one individual, I couldn't be more tickled in the fact that it's John Hewitt. What does it mean now? Loyalty Brands is a whole conglomeration of different franchise concepts. We happen to be senior care. There's a staffing agency, Jobsum. There's a mobile pet grooming service, Zoom and Grooming. Mm. There's a business broker, First Business Brokers. A-Tax, there's a tax service. The beauty of Loyalty Brands is the cross-marketing opportunities, Scott.
Sure.
In our business, folks, we need clients and we need employees. So let's take, because there is an A-Tax office here in Raleigh, they may do 3,000 tax returns a year. Mm-hmm. A lot of those folks that are doing the tax returns are in our demographic for employees. And more than a few of them are probably going to be our demographic for clients.
Okay.
A-Tax can push our name out in front of their clients, thus driving us employees, thus driving us clients. A-Tax was gracious enough this year that for our employee base, they said, hey, all of your employees get their taxes done for free.
Well, that's cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So, Zoom and Grooming, another example. A shout out to my mama and Densmore. Mama's got Dinah, the dog. Now, Mom, don't hit me for this. Mom is in her 80s, early 80s. I really am uncomfortable with my mom driving.
Yeah. And
she has Dinah, the dog, who apparently grows hair like Iowa grows corn.
Like it's her job.
Like it's Dinah's job. That dog needs grooming about once every couple of months.
Right, right.
Zoom and Grooming can come to Mom's place. And they will bring Dinah out, they'll trim her up, they'll do a beautiful professional job of dog grooming for Mom, and Mom doesn't have to leave the house. Well, every one of Zoom and Grooming's clients that they see their seniors, hey, here's a brochure for at-home Eldercare. You may not need it now, but just hold on to it for the future. Great cross-marketing opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely Loyalty Brands, John Hewitt cross-marketing. I think that is a huge differentiator. We're an emerging brand, folks. We've got 2 franchises out there now, plus this office for 3 locations. We're working with some folks in Chicago, working with some folks up in Delaware. But the key thing is you get the pick of your first territories.
There are some prime territories available.
Oh, heavens yes. But if you look at the big players in the industry, they've already saturated their markets. They can't grow any further. So is Visiting Angels a great outfit? Absolutely they are.
Yeah.
Home Instead Senior Care has been doing it. I think John Hogan has been doing it longer than probably anybody. Griswold has been around, probably maybe preceding Home Instead. There are some absolutely awesome care provider competitors of ours, but they've saturated their markets. They really can't grow any further.
Right.
At-home Eldercare, you get your first pick of your territory, and I think that's key. And
there's something new that we've developed that a lot of the other home care agencies aren't doing, and that's training folks yourself, right?
Man, I really don't want this cat to get out of the bag, but training your own employee base. There is, Scott, I read the Wall Street Journal every day.
Yeah.
and I'm not going to get into politics. I'm going to be apolitical. But when the government disincents you to go to work, and they're paying you more on unemployment than you can make go to work, something's wrong.
Right.
There is a dearth of available staff in America. And I don't care what kind of business you own.
I was just reading an
Whether
article
it's-
today about how the $860 billion restaurant industry is undergoing huge turmoil because they just can't hire anybody to just come in and wait tables and bartend.
Restaurants,
Yeah.
home improvement stores, manufacturing,
Right.
senior care, folks. You got to do two things to run a successful home care agency. You've got to recruit and you've got to sell. The selling part is going to be easy. The recruiting part, you're going to be recruiting, you and your office staff, once you get up to that point, are going to spend the rest of your lives recruiting great help. It was no different 21 years ago when I started my first agency, and it's not going to be any different 20 years in the future. We are always looking for our next great caregiver. Well, let's just leave the competitive advantage, Scott, at the fact that we're going to help you grow your own employee base. We're excited about it. I think it is a huge differentiator. Again, nobody else out there is doing it. We're going to, and it's going to make a difference in your life. Where you can add, if you add 10, 15, 20 people to your payroll each year, having grown them yourselves, that's an individual, that's a one-on-one conversation for more details, but I'm excited about it. Everybody here, Scott, the expression, well, it's recession resistant or recession proof.
Okay. We hear that about some businesses, but this one is true.
It goes beyond that. It's a necessity. It is a necessity. We cannot leave our seniors to, when they've aged to a point that they can't care for themselves. Nobody in their right mind is going to put them into a facility. The kids are busy with their own kids. The kids have moved out of town. My father's back in Grand Rapids, Michigan, by himself. Love you, Dad, but I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Todd's in Lexington, Kentucky. Who's going to take care of you, Pop?
Yeah.
You're taking care of yourself now, but my brother's not going to move back to Michigan. I have children in school here. I have businesses. I'm not going to move there. Dad probably doesn't want to move to North Carolina or Kentucky. He loves his house that he's
But,
in.
you know, my situation was that I brought Dad here he was in Florida, Central Florida, and unfortunately, you know, that's just a nightmare. We could spend an entire live broadcast talking about the home care he was getting. You know, I brought him here and was going to have him in my home, and probably would have needed home care, but it turned out he was in worse shape than we realized because of the fact that the home care agency that my brother had hired in Central Florida was subpar. Let's leave it at that. And so even if I kept him in my home, because I couldn't, he ended up, you know, he was SNF level, skilled nursing facility level, unfortunately.
Nursing home.
Yeah. And so, you know, home care wouldn't necessarily, but, you know, if he'd been a little bit better shape, then yeah, even having him in my home, I would have wanted home care to come in because I couldn't watch him every minute. He was at that level, you know what I'm saying?
And and you bring up a good point that even if you do move mom and dad into the home with you, you're still going to need supplemental care.
Yeah.
Because, folks, if it's one thing that I've figured out over 21 years, caregiving is tough work. It is hard on the family. It's hard on the caregiver. And if you're working and your wife is teaching and you guys aren't home, who's going to be with mom or who's going to be with dad? So you're still going to need some supplemental staffing as it goes along. And I think the final differentiator is, and this is my wheelhouse, Scott.
Okay.
In the early stages, you're going to work directly with myself and my senior management team to bring your agency live.
I'm not farming this out.
I'm not farming this out. I can't promise that when I've got 300 franchises out there, but in the early stages of growing the franchise organization, you're going to be working directly with me, the industry expert, 21 years in the industry, and you're going to be working with my senior management team. All told, we've got over 65 years. I think I added it up. We've got 67 years of senior management experience in the business. So you're going to be working directly with me, live, one-on-one. Kimberly, our franchise partner in Winston-Salem, great example. Just visited with her last week in person. She has. So how does it work? Well, you come through the initial 5-day training. Myself, my senior management team, we teach that class, that week-long training. Then you go back to your respective cities and towns, and we're going to Zoom once a week, hour and a half every week, to make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow. You're doing what you need to be doing when you need to be doing it.
Sure.
At the end of that year, that first year, you will have gotten your first employees, you will have gotten your first clients, your agents will be open, you will be licensed. Congratulations, you're in business. At the end of that, after that year of Zooming, we're going to come into your office, and this is the phase I'm at with Kimberly right now. We're going to come to your office and spend 3, 4 days, 5 days with you one-on-one.
At your location.
At your location, folks, working on compliance.
Sure.
How do your I went to Kimberly, did a chart audit. Her chart audit went great. We found some things that she needed to tweak.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on policies and procedures. Kim is adding nursing services to her license here in North Carolina, and so we worked on that a little bit. I'm going back next week, and we're going to work on employee chart audits now. How do your employee charts look? We're also going to work on sales and marketing and rolling out some sales and marketing programs that, as far as I know, Scott, nobody else in the industry is doing. It's unique to at-home Eldercare. And again, I don't want to give away the secret sauce, but on a one-on-one phone call with you folks, I'm happy to discuss it all day long. I just don't want my competitors to see it.
I'm partly involved in that process because I'm managing your social media and some of the communications aspects of the company, and we're doing some unique things.
Duncan Media, absolutely crushing the job, Scott. And I'm super tickled with the job that you're doing. And you've got senior care experience in your own background. You've been doing senior care now for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So you're
and healthcare in general. I have a lot of healthcare experience and clientele, and so yeah, I think that we bring. I think you're going to be working directly with our senior management team, and Scott's going to be supporting you. I'm going to be supporting you, and it's all designed to make you as successful as you want to be, as quickly as you want to be. Well, let's talk about that process. You mentioned the training process, but let's take a step back. Somebody is, that sounds like a good idea. I'd like to own an at-home Eldercare franchise, or at least talk about owning one.
Be a partner with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So understand that this isn't just mail in your check and we send you a franchise. There's a process here.
No, in fact, we're gonna put you. We will. Yes. There's a process, Scott. Kimberly Hopewell Champion is my sales director. You'll start out with Kimberly. She will share the franchise partnership with you. The franchise fee is $45,000, which is about $5,000 less, folks, than the industry average. The industry average is $50,000. That again comes out of the competitive analysis that I did a couple months ago. We have a royalty fee at 6%, and you go through the process. You work with Kimberly, and you sign the franchise disclosure documents, receipts. That kind of gets the ball rolling. We're going to work with you on state licensing. We will help you get licensed. I personally work in one of our sister companies, Home Care Seminar, teaches for the licensing division of North Carolina. So we are home care licensure experts. We're going to work with you on your specific state to get you licensed.
And as the thing with the $400 billion, which we mentioned earlier, the Biden administration is building $400 billion in money for home care into their infrastructure. You guys are going to do the research before they need to figure out how to access that money and work on that framework too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to keep ahead of the changes.
Yes. Right now we're waiting for more details on it.
Yeah.
It looks like, from what I'm reading, Medicaid is going to be the vehicle of choice to roll that money out into the states. But coming back to you've made the decision that you'd like to partner with at-home elder care. What's the process? Well, you talk to Kimberly Champion Hopewell, our sales director. She's going to share documentation with you. You're going to share it back with her. You're going to go through. You're probably going to talk to some of our franchisees. Kimberly is crushing it in Winston-Salem in her first year. We were so proud of her. Then you're going to make the decision to become a franchise partner. You're going to come in for your training. Not all said and done yet, folks. We're going to evaluate you during that first week, just like you're evaluating us. We're just as selective in who we partner with, Scott, as you folks should be in being selective on who you partner with. We want the best of the best franchisees. What makes a good franchisee? Everybody will tell you, Scott, give me a sales background, give me a management background, give me a healthcare background. Well, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a nurse, you don't even have to have a medical background to get into this field.
Right.
We've made a lot of people successful. We've made a lot of millionaires in this business. And they came out of IT. They came out of the furniture industry. They came out of banking. Nowhere near healthcare backgrounds.
You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit.
You got to be entrepreneurial. I love. There's a TED Talk, and you can search for it on TED Talks on grit, GRIT.
Okay.
And it's your wife is in education. Socioeconomic doesn't believe it or not, it doesn't necessarily play into who's going to be successful and who's not. If you go look at this video and you watch it, and I've watched it 4 or 5 times because I love it so much. The kids that bring grit and determination to school every day are the ones that are future successful folks.
Right.
It's not you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. It's the kids that show up with grit and determination. I think I want the same thing for my franchise partners. I want grit and determination. I want you, my partners, to wake up every morning, ask themselves, what can I do for my employees? Because, folks, it's the employees that are going to be working for you that are going to make the difference in your life. And the more you love on them, the more successful you're going to be.
Oh, yeah.
So what can I do for my employees and what can I do for my clients that I'm not currently doing? And if you keep that as your focus, and you keep focused on recruiting, and you keep focused on sales,
right,
and you follow our plan, because folks, if you're not familiar with the concept of franchising, we have a system that has been proven over the past 21 years. We've replicated it and we can roll it out. If you follow the system and you bring the grit to the table and the determination to the table, Scott, I can guarantee you're going to be successful.
Sure. That's the number one determinant.
It helps if you got sales background.
Yeah.
We put everybody through sales training. Everybody goes through Sandler sales training. It would help. When I started my agency 21 years ago, I had a lot of sales experience. I had 20 years of sales experience.
Sure.
I was like, I would trade 10 of those sales years for 2 years of management experience. You're going to be managing your employees. if you're a nurse, that helps because a lot of states, we require you to have a nurse on staff, not necessarily full-time. They will, when you grow your agency to be successful and you really get going, the RN is going to be full-time. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But just starting out, having an RN on staff is the way to do it, and it's the way to do it right, and it's the way to do it professionally. So we need you to have a part-time nurse on staff. So a medical background would help. If you're a registered nurse and you want to own your home care agency, then that's going to save you a couple of bucks on the payroll.
Sure.
You're going to kill two birds with one stone. But yeah, there's grit, determination, some sales experience, management experience. Those are, yeah, and your capacity to follow the playbook. Yeah.
Sure. So we're on for an hour today, folks. We've got about 15 minutes left. My name's Scott Duncan, and I'm here with Gavin Densmore. He is the CEO of At-Home Eldercare, and that is the franchisor organization that is over and also involved in the day-to-day operations of our Raleigh franchise, Raleigh office, where we actually provide care to seniors. So we're going over the process. So you guys have decided it's time to date, leading to get married, to use a metaphor, with this potential franchisor.
We're gonna walk down the aisle with him.
Walk down the aisle with them. So the next step is what in the process? We've decided we like each other.
Decided we like each other. We are going to actually have a Discovery Day coming up in Virginia Beach. It's going to be the 8th, 9th, and 10th of June in Virginia Beach. We're going to be doing our first annual convention in Virginia Beach with our franchisees. We're going to have a Discovery Day to bring prospects in. And certainly you're welcome to drive to Virginia Beach and meet with us. Once we're past June, if this is something you would like to do, I would certainly, once you have worked with Kimberly on getting your franchise partner questionnaire completed, requesting a copy of our franchise disclosure document and sending us the receipt back. You're not, with the FDD receipt, you're not buying a franchise at that point. You're simply acknowledging that you received a very large document, because selling franchises, folks, is governed and overseen by the Federal Trade Commission. And the FTC says that we have to get a signed receipt from you for the franchise disclosure document. Only after 2 weeks have gone by, once we got that receipt, Scott, can we actually physically sell you a franchise.
There has to be a cooling down period.
Yeah, it's a 2-week quiet period. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're going to go through that 2-week cooling down period, and then I would really recommend that you come into Raleigh to meet with me personally. Kimberly, again, will arrange that. You can meet us up in Virginia Beach at the Loyalty Brands headquarters, or you can meet me personally in Raleigh at the At-Home Eldercare World headquarters. We sit down for a day. We spend the day together. And as you've gotten to know me, Scott, and I've got to know your family, and you've got to know my family, our franchise partners literally become part of the family.
Yes.
And so you want to know who you are doing business with. Because, folks, we're going to be walking down that aisle. I'm 56. I've got to do something for the next 15 to 20 years, folks. I have a 10-year-old daughter. So I'm going to be working to get her through high school and then college.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be around for the foreseeable future. You're going to be partnering with us for the foreseeable future. We are going to become family together.
Yes.
And so the only way that you do that, guys, is face to face. Now we can do it on Zoom. I'm happy to do that as well. I've done some Discovery Days on Zoom rather successfully. We teach and train on Zoom every week. But we really want to have a Discovery Day with you. And at that point, we're looking at each other going, yeah, he's got 5 fingers on this hand, 5 fingers on this hand. knows what he's talking about, is a down-to-earth kind of a guy,
Yeah.
and we sense that we can work together. At that point, it's time to sign the franchise disclosure document, the franchise agreement, and write a check.
Okay.
We then,
That's when the training process starts.
that's when we schedule the training process.
Right.
Yeah, we can offer the training. Literally, I would love nothing better than to spend my whole career doing nothing but making people successful. I love coaching, I love mentoring, and I love training. And probably more coaching and mentoring, but I also train probably 2/3 of the 5-day training. So we pick a date that works for you, pick a date that works for me, and we get you back into Raleigh. The training is good for yourself and another person. Come on in, we'll wine and dine you for breakfast and lunch. Dinner is on your own. Training goes from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we're going to keep you busy, folks.
Yeah.
It is, we've all seen the movies where the preacher takes somebody out to be baptized in the river.
Right.
They dunk them under the water. It's a full immersion. We're full immersion
Well, and the good news
into
is,
senior care.
if you've never been to Raleigh, folks, there are some amazing restaurants. So even though you're on your own, we can help make some recommendations. And downtown Raleigh, there's a whole bunch of really good sort of Michelin star rated restaurants.
And we
There's some
actually
really neat stuff.
we do lunch at those
Yep.
because we want to get you out of the conference room. Because trust me, folks, after you spend 40 hours in the conference room, the walls start to close in on you a little bit. So we're gonna break out for lunch at the finest dining establishments in Raleigh. We'll cater at breakfast to you. Again, as Scott said, dinner is on your own, but we will get you going in the right direction. We have a wealth of great restaurants here in town.
Yeah.
We're going to send you home every night with homework. We're going to talk through the training material with you. Then you're going to have to go home. And the training manuals, 2 training manuals about that thick, Scott. I mean, they're big.
Because they cover all the bases.
They cover all the bases, Monday through Friday. It's broken out into segments. And you got to go home and read the material then. You folks, I think Friday rolls around, you're going to be happy 5, 6 o'clock. You get out to RDU Airport to fly home because it's a full immersion, Scott.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Because the real fun comes in when they get back to Birmingham, Alabama, when they get back to Cincinnati, Ohio,
Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, Illinois, or Philadelphia. Now we're going to work with you week by week by week by week to start building out that agency of yours. And we have a punch list, folks, and it has been refined over the past 15 years that we've been putting people in business. Chronologically listed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we literally go down that list. Boom, 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 boom. And if you follow that plan, and myself, my senior management team are going to be working with you on that plan on a weekly basis to get you down through that list. You'll be successful. That's the process, Gavin.
Well, that's great. So, like I said, we're wrapping up. We got about 10 minutes left. And so if anyone has any questions, I know some folks are watching this right now. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments near the live video, and we'll see that and get right to it. I'm also, I posted a link to the website, athomec.com. And I'm putting the, which phone number would you like to use? The 844 number, or do you have a different number?
Let's use the 844 number.
Okay.
That's pretty consistent.
844-358-4311, and I'm putting that in the comments section. So if you want to call us, there's email and contact forms and the whole bit on the website. You can also, your email, Gavin at, or what email should we use?
Well, there's 2 that they can use.
Development
development at homec.com, or certainly Gavin, Gavin at homec.com is going to get to me. And so we've got 10 minutes, and if we're waiting on Q&A to come in, Scott, maybe some other things that we can talk about are you know, what's the competitive landscape? We didn't really touch on this. We talked about a little bit about competitors.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there are a number of agencies and franchisors out there in this space. We've already covered that. A lot of them are already saturated. They covered the good
territories already. Well, I think, believe it or not, folks, your number one competition out there is not going to be another home care agency. It's going to be the little old lady that does caregiving privately on the side and goes in and takes care of Aunt Martha or Uncle Bill and is just a family friend and has been doing it for 15 or 20 years.
Right.
That is, we call them private duty individuals in our industry. And believe it or not, that's your number one competition. It's not another home care agency. I train probably, for the state of North Carolina, I probably train about 80 home care agencies a year, I would say. Excuse me. And I would say 85% of them, Scott, are specifically getting into this business for Medicaid. Now, that's fine. Why? Because Medicaid refers you your clients.
And it's steady money.
And it's steady money. It's not the best money, but it's steady money.
No.
I have a client up in Todd Bagatellis, Germantown, Tennessee. All Tennessee caregivers. Love Todd dearly. Put him in business probably 10, 11 years ago. Tennessee, absolutely, they reimburse at $19 an hour for Medicaid. Todd can get all the employees he needs for $10 an hour in Memphis.
Right.
So he is making $9 an hour on Medicaid cases. He's covered up. He doesn't have to do private pay business. So Medicaid sends him as many clients as he can handle, and Todd's perfectly happy with that. We will train you. So I would say 85% of those folks that I train for the state of North Carolina are probably getting into this to specifically go after Medicaid. And I say Medicaid is for agency owners that don't know how to sell.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because we know Uncle Joe Biden is going to put $400 billion into the Medicaid system for home care.
Early indications, though, is that it may be a little bit slightly more competitive in reimbursement, or where do you think this? We have no idea whether they're going to continue paying the same state Medicaid rates, or if the feds are going to pay more per hour, closer to a.
I believe in a living wage, Scott.
Yeah.
And what Medicaid reimburses at now, home care agencies cannot afford to pay a living wage.
Right.
We will train you to go after private pay business, folks. I think 15% of all the people that get in this business, at least from a licensure perspective for me, that I've experienced, I'd say 15% of those individuals are qualified to go after private pay business. I've run a private pay agency for almost 21 years, folks. 21 years this month. I know what it takes to do private pay clients. It does require some polish. And I don't think God hands out polish equally to everybody, or you got to work at polishing yourself.
Well, and that's going back to step one. Are you suited for this business?
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna listen, folks. If you're not suited for this business, we don't want to take your check.
Yeah, we don't.
It's going to reflect badly on both of us.
It's not going to go well. I mean, there are other folks. There are plenty of businesses out there that you can own.
And we'll hook you up with the folks at Loyalty Brands to explore the opportunities that they offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, one of our, there's the inspection boys.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Scott, you know me. I'm handy with tools. I like to build things. Hey, if you're kind of rough around the edges, maybe and not as polished as you can be, maybe home care might not be for you, but maybe the inspection boys and home inspections, and with the real estate market like it is, and a seller's market, every one of those houses is getting inspected before they buy it. Those guys have got to be pulling their hair out. They're so busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe the Zoom agreement, right? Or tax preparation, folks.
Like the IRS just made PPE deductible, specifically if it's used for COVID. And so, there's knowing those tax rules is important.
Yeah, we want to Scott's point, we're looking for a good fit between yourselves and ourselves, and we're happy to, and I wouldn't rule out our franchisees doing Medicaid work.
Yeah.
I mean, they can certainly, I've seen agency upon agency upon agency that's very, very, very successful running a Medicaid agency. I think there are agencies that do just Medicaid because that's what they can do, folks. But I think you can add Medicaid if it makes financial sense to you. If you're running a private pay agency where you are taking private pay or you're taking long-term care insurance, I absolutely think that you can fold Medicaid into that as an additional revenue stream. It has to make financial sense. In North Carolina, they just upped the reimbursement rate a couple of years ago. We got out of doing Medicaid when the state started reimbursing at $13.88 an hour, and we were paying our average employee $11.75. Well, then we had overhead costs, so I was literally, for us to take out a Medicaid client, we would be
making a little teeny bit of money.
Oh heavens, we were probably in the negative.
Yeah.
So, we work with our franchise partners to look at what is the reimbursement rate on a state by state by state basis.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, $19 an hour, Todd, $19 an hour bill rate, $10 an hour payroll going out the door.
There's a margin there.
There is a margin there.
Yeah.
That makes financial sense. If it doesn't make financial sense, then I don't want any of our partners spinning their wheels on it.
Well, and that's part of some of the questions you're going to answer for them is this viable? And they're going to be able to come to you and the management team and say, hey, what about this idea? Mm-hmm. Let's, on a final note, and we were talking about this before we got started here this afternoon, because we're wrapping things up. We're hitting our hour mark. You have a technology committee. Because you just went with and this is sort of indicative of how well you mesh with the franchisees who are part of this organization. The organization decided to go with a different app that the caregivers can log in and out, and it's GPS based, and that's something Medicaid is going to be requiring in the next couple of years.
They are requiring it right now. It's called the program, folks, is called Swift Ops. They're out of Kansas.
But you didn't even vote on that. This wasn't you will do this. This was franchisees and experts and healthcare, and the nurse, your director of nursing was involved in it. Yep. Sat down, pros and cons, we like this, we don't like this, and voted on it. It was a democracy, and that's how the provider was picked. And that's indicative of how much
we don't, to Scott's point, folks, I do not want to be dictatorial anywhere or ever be said that I'm dictatorial. I really truly make my decisions by consensus if I can. I want the franchisees to have a vendor selection committee. So many times, Scott, I've heard from when I'm training for the state, I've trained a number of competitors and other franchise organizations. And so many times I've heard them come back out of training and say, they come back and go, oh my God, Gavin, they're nickel and diming us to death. I don't want that ever said about At-Home Eldercare or Gavin Densmore. I want a vendor selection committee. They select the products.
Yeah.
If it's technology, and it's our technology we selected, it's kind of like Match.com. It's cool. It matches up our caregivers with the right client, and it's got attributes and everything, and it really simplifies life, folks. And that's the way to go. And we started with G3, which is an intelligence report for home care technology platforms. We looked at and it's 4 quadrants, and you want the upper right-hand quadrant because that's where the movers and shakers are.
Right.
And Swift Ops was there, and we focused on the movers and shakers. Then the technology committee reviewed all the platforms, and they selected Swift Ops. They made the choice. I didn't even vote. I sat on the committee so that I could make sure that we kept moving in the right direction and I could stay on top of things. But at the end of the day, the franchisees are the ones that selected the platform. And as we grow and as we mature, we're certainly looking for franchise partners to sit on the vendor selection committee so that you guys drive the best deals.
Very good. Well, let's run through. Gavin, thank you again.
Thanks for the help, Scott.
The time flies by. Just let's, real quick, it's in the comments on the video and it's going to stay attached to the video. We will be archiving this and posting it, and we'll be across social media as well. A couple of things to mention. The website, athomeec.com. It's on the comments. The email, if you want to reach out by email, is development, DEVELOPMENT, athomeec.com. The phone number, toll free, although that doesn't matter anymore. Phone calls are free anyway. 844-358-4311. And we'll be back. I don't know when our next franchise one, but next month we'll be out with, and folks, you might want to check out our other pages. If you look at our Wake County and our Winston-Salem pages, you'll see some of the marketing efforts we're doing. We'll be back in June with a live event to talk about how we can serve our customers.
Maybe. Or maybe we'll have Kimberly Pettigrew on. And
there we go.
Maybe we'll franchise focus it again and get Kimberly's take on where she was a year and a half ago when she selected it. She came in through a business broker to us, Charles Cook. And where she is now and what her thoughts are and what the past year and a half has been.
Because I got to spend, if you go to our YouTube channel, I got to spend some time with Kimberly interviewing her a couple of things about her philosophy of care and about her background. She has 2 master's degrees related to healthcare management. So I can't imagine anybody else who, but that doesn't mean you have to have 2 masters.
If I could clone Kimberly,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd do that in a heartbeat. But folks, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. If you're interested, I look forward to sharing a conversation with you.